All right, welcome everyone. Welcome back to Sports Media. It is the midweek recap. Lots to talk about. NBA playoff finals are starting. NHL playoffs are heating up even more. We've got slaps being thrown, baseball teams and tailspins, and a lot more here coming. Sports Media, let's get it.
And you're listening to The Sportsmen, Mike and Rob.
All right. We got some NBA finals. Game 1 is coming tomorrow. Celtics at Golden State. Rob, give me your first impressions, man.
How's it going, Mike? Are you going to be watching the game?
I am. I will have the game on for tomorrow, for sure. Of course.
Nice,
It's NBA
nice.
Finals. Gotta have the game on.
I hope it's going to be a good one. The Celtics, I think that they're going to be a little bit banged up, a little tired because it was a grueling match between them and the Heat. I have the Warriors in 6 games. It should be a good one. You have the defensive man of the year, Marcus Smart, going up against Steph Curry. And so I think that he should have a good chance of locking him down. But the Warriors are just complete. They're more of a complete team. Jason Tatum, he's playing really, really good right now. I don't think that they're going to have enough, though, enough of what it takes. I have the Warriors coming out on top.
Me as well. I would say I'm predicting the Warriors are going to come out on top. I would say it's going to go 6 or 7 games as well. I don't think it's going to be any blowouts like they had against the Mavericks. I think the Celtics will definitely give the Warriors a little bit more run for their money than, say, the Dallas did, for sure. But like you said, size comes into play a lot in the NBA, and the Celtics definitely have a size matchup when it comes to playing the Warriors. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they play, see how the Warriors handle the shifting of the Celtics defense. They're always switching defense when it comes to the pick and roll being used against them. So it's definitely going to be easy. It's going to be open season for Seth. I think they're going to come hard for him. I think I'll see a lot of double teams as well, trying to lock down Seth Curry. But can you lock down Seth Curry at this point?
I mean, if you do, you have the other Splash brother. You got Wiggins playing out of his mind. And you got Draymond averaging a cool 4 or 5 points. So they got other options, If Clay steps up, we could be talking about a sweep. I don't see them pulling it off, man. I think is this going to be the first time that Steph Curry gets a Finals MVP because he never has one?
That's very true. That's very true. I mean, there's been lots of comparisons made between the Bulls era and now the Warriors era in terms of dominance between Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and God, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Dennis Rodman. How do you think those two teams compare in terms of just dominance of their era?
It's so different. The Bulls were so much more physical, and the Warriors, they're mainly threes. They live off from behind the 3-point line. I kind of being biased. I think Michael Jordan's the greatest player that's ever lived. So I would pick the Bulls. With Rodman, locking him down. And do you remember when Draymond would compare himself to Dennis Rodman and say he's better than him? I mean, come on. I'm not a big Draymond fan. He kicks dudes in the nuts. He's kind of a dirty player. I feel like if you're good, you let the talking come out on the court. You don't have to do all the trash talk. He reminds me of a Patrick Beverly. So a lot of bark. I'm sure there's been times where some of his own teammates have been like, dude, just shut the fuck up. But I'd have to go with the Bulls. I have a question for you for this for the NBA Finals. Does this impact the legacy more of Steph or of Jason Tatum? Who is it more important to win?
I think it's more important for Steph, just for the fact of what they've already built um, above Jason Tatum. I think it's a little more impactful if the Warriors lose here than the other way around. I don't think it hurts him as much as if the Celtics lose this finals to the Warriors. So I definitely think it's going to impact Steph because he's getting up in that conversation of, he'll have what, as many rings as LeBron has, right? If he wins the finals this year, isn't that?
I think he'll get one more.
He'll have one more than LeBron. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean that's even more impactful.
That's huge.
I think what Tatum has.
But I mean, on the other side, if Jason Tatum beats the Warriors, I mean, they're going into it as underdogs. I mean, look at the past. They swept KD and Kyrie. I mean, that was unbelievable. I didn't see that coming. And then the Heat series was unbelievable too. So it's, I mean, you could say, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. And Steph has already won one without KD. And don't you think it's pretty ironic that KD and Kyrie both left and joined up to create something special? And I mean, Kyrie was with the Celtics, right? And we all see what happened there. KD leaves, and they haven't skipped a beat. So
nope, they have not skipped a beat. I mean, KD, he's good, and he was an impactful player for the Warriors. But I think it's always been Clay, Steph, and Draymond. I don't think he was ever really that big in the formula to them winning. He definitely added to the team, but I think it's always been those three core players. That's really what has fueled Golden State's dominance. KD, I think, had little impact when it came to that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we'll find out, right?
We'll definitely find out. I think it's going to be key for the Celtics. Defense has to step up. The Celtics have held the Warriors in the past seasons here in 18, 19, and 22 to 0.853 points per possession. So less than 1 point per possession. The Celtics have held the Warriors in the past, 3 out of the last 4 years or so? 3 out of the last 5 years. So, the Celtics have played the Warriors pretty good. So it's going to be hard or interesting to see if that defense and that size mismatch can really play a factor in the Warriors offense.
Absolutely.
So let's do a couple little betting predictions here. We got a couple things from Vegas thrown on the line here for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Warriors obviously are favored here by 3.5 points, and I think both of us are safe saying we're taking the Warriors in the points. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Game 1, we're taking the Warriors 3.5 favorites over Celtics, or are you going to take the Celtics and the points?
I'm taking the Warriors. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm not too big on gambling. It to be completely honest, it confuses me. But I'm taking the Warriors for sure.
All right. Yep, I would say that.
I think they're going to come out strong.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. Like you said, they're more rested than the Celtics, and they're they're ready to go.
It's in Golden State,
It's in Golden State. Draymond, I know, is using the motivation of not making all defensive first team right now. He said, as the motivation to do well here in the finals. He's a little mad about being stiffed on that.
Yeah.
But, and then we got to hear over under for the game. 211.5 points, total points scored in tomorrow's game. Think there'll be more or less?
I'm going to go under.
Going under. Okay. I'm going to take the over. So we'll take the over on that. We'll see how we did next week. And then one player prop bet, Andrew Wiggins. He's been a key player in the postseason for the Warriors. Vegas has him over under at 16.5 points scoring tomorrow. You taking over or under?
I'm taking over. I think he's going to have a really big game, especially with Smart all over Steph, So I think he's going to have a big game, big series.
I agree. I'm going to go over as well. So we'll check back and see how that is on our next episode for that. So Warriors coming out on top tomorrow. Game time is what, 6 p.m. Pacific time on ABC for tomorrow's game. Make sure you guys don't miss that out. Next, we got on the list, we got NHL Playoffs. NHL Playoffs are definitely heating up. Yesterday, the Avalanche and the Oilers absolutely went on it. It's kind of look at the score, and it was kind of hard to think that it was a playoff game. They scored or a hockey game. They scored 14 points between the two teams. Both goalies didn't really stand a chance. The Oilers removed theirs out of the game due to performance. Avalanche's goalie got hurt. It's going to be interesting to see what happens game 2 tomorrow because both teams' goalies are up in the air. We don't know who's going to be in net for either team. Especially the Avalanche, their goalie, their main goalie's hurt. So if they put their backup in, that could spell trouble for the Avalanche with McDavid and Drysdale both on fire and leading the league in points. Both of them together, first McDavid, second Drysdale. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Hopefully the Avalanche can keep it rolling and can skate their way through all this against the Oilers. Currently, today, Rangers game 1 versus the Lightning. Rangers got a 5-2 lead in a third, with the Rangers most likely going to be taking that game today, and a 1-0 lead on the Lightning. But we'll check on that later as well. So, moving on now to who got slapped over in the MLB. Rob, give me some thoughts on this slapping match going on here.
Well, if you're not aware, there's a video too. I don't know if you've seen the video, but Tommy Pham of the Reds slapped the shit out of Jock Peterson, and come to find out, it's about fantasy football. Pham was actually suspended 3 games, I believe. The commissioner of that league was none other than Mike Trout. So there's all kinds of drama going on. I mean, I don't know what to say, but I mean, Pham has been acting, pretty crazy, you know. But when people start acting like that, it makes me think like, okay, well, what else is going on in this guy's life, you know? Because that's crazy. That's crazy shit. I mean, maybe there's some shit going on at home that we don't know about, and he just doesn't know how to you know cope with or maybe he's just holding things in. And then I mean, because fantasy football, we're talking about, I mean, how long is the football season been over? This guy's been holding a grudge, or maybe it was something little and then something was said and it just ticked him off. And
I know there was some like mean tweets or memes sent in the chat with them about, you know, the Padres sucking or whatever. I think that was more out of like good fun and, you know, just, you know, normal trash talking that players between teams I think would do. And I don't know, I think there's no reason why he should have slapped Jock Peterson. He should have had better control of himself than that, especially over fantasy football. I mean, I get it. It's probably for a lot of money. It's being played against millionaires, against lots of high-ranking MLB players are in that, you know, league. You know, you got Mike Trout, obviously you said as the commissioner, you know. So
well,
I get it.
I mean, dude, talking shit is part of why I love fantasy football. You know, I mean, that's half of it is it's talking shit. You know, and I get it. It's about, you know, there's a lot of money on the line. But I mean, did he break the rules? We don't know. I mean, Mike Trout allowed it. You know, and I mean, all it was that he placed some dude on the IL, right? IR or something like that.
Yeah, no, so, I get it. Like I said, Mike Trout did refuse to comment on whether he broke the rules or not, just saying, you know, the media's been dragging out, the issue's been solved and handled internally, and there's nothing more to it. And I don't think there is. I think it is getting dragged out more than it needs to be. You know, I think they have handled everything that needs to be handled, you know.
Yeah.
I think we can move on from the slap. I thought it was more funny than anything. And to be honest, with all the stuff that's happened at MLB, I'm kind of surprised he got suspended for 3 games. But I mean, it is what it is.
In all fairness, that was the most contact that Pham has made in a long time.
Oh boy, I would agree on that. I would agree. That's for sure. All right, so moving on. Who's hot and who is not around the league here in the MLB, Rob? So, who's hot? I'm probably going to have to give that to at least one of them, to the Astros. Unfortunately, as much as I don't want to give it to the Astros, but they're definitely, you know, getting hot at the right time. capitalizing on the Angels' misfortunes and making themselves a nice, healthy lead in the standings.
Nice. I mean, that's a good pick. Yeah. Unfortunately, it is the Astros, and their name's a little tainted. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to shy away from that. But I mean, it's a good solid pick. They just keep winning, man. My who's hot. I'm gonna go with the Reds. It's crazy how they flipped it around. They've been winning a lot of ball games recently, and is it a coincidence that they're winning and Pham has been suspended? I don't know. Maybe the dude's a cancer in the dugout. Maybe he's not good for the team or not right upstairs. And without that guy there, they just they're meshing. Also, I mean, on the other side, the Yankees are they keep winning too. Big ball games too. I mean, we seen what they did the other day to Thor. I heard someone compare him to he wasn't Thor the god of thunder. He was Fat Thor. Just not doing his thing. But they put up big numbers, dude. And Shoemaker. I mean, that guy has been a solid pickup for him. A hell of a stash, and they've been solid, man. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with two of them, the Reds and the Yankees.
Yeah, if I had to add one more, I'd probably say also Toronto. Obviously just swept the Angels. They're on a 6-game winning streak right now, which I think is tied for the best in baseball with the Mets. I'm not going to give it to the Mets just because the Mets have been hot all year. I don't think anything's slowing them down at this point. It's their division to lose. I mean, they got a 10.5 game lead on the Braves at this point. Even with their top pitchers hurt, the Braves or the Mets are still somehow pulling out wins left and right. I don't know. Probably the biggest surprise so far of me this season. I expect them to be good. I don't know if I expect them to be this good.
You talking about the Mets?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest takeaway is that they're winning these games without DeGrom and Max Scherzer.
Exactly. Somehow they're pulling off without the top two pitchers in the rotation.
Yeah. And I mean, so they're both scheduled to come back around the same time. But now that they're winning, I mean, no rush at all. Take your time. Make sure that you're going to come back solid. I mean, do they even need them to make the playoffs at this pace? No, they don't.
No, at this point, they definitely don't. They're only an added bonus at this point in time, and they're on fire. I don't know how else to really put it other than just killing every team they meet. And then I'm really worried for when the Angels play them here in the next week or so, how well they're really going to fare. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what about who's not? You got any for that?
Who's not hot? Yeah, I got a couple picks for who's not hot. One of them, a couple picks actually. So I'd say Kansas City Royals are definitely not doing it. They are 4-game losing streak, 2-8 in their last 10, or 12.5 out of first place. And then I would also have to give it to the aforementioned Oakland A's. 3 of 7, lost 3 in a row. But not a shocker there. They gave away all their players. We knew they'd suck the season, so they're pretty much playing how I've expected anyways. They started the season kind of looking all right and then just quickly fell off the table.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of expected, with the whole tear down, getting rid of some of their best players and stuff like that. So I have none other than our Angels. They're currently on a 6-game losing streak. I don't know what's been happening. It's either one thing or the other. When they have pitching, the hitting is not coming around. When the hitting's there, the bullpen's sucking. It's not meshing like they would like. So
yeah, no, we definitely got a lot coming up here on the Angels and the Halos if they're in trouble. Touch a little bit more on that here because it's definitely looking a little nervous with the Angels here right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going through their toughest part of the season and not looking very well. So with that though, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to run down here real quick the lineups and the series recaps real quick here in baseball from over the weekend. So we got Yankees were at Tampa Bay here. They split the series 2-2. Yankees took the first game 7-2, and then 2-0, and then the Rays took the last two games 3-1 and 4-2 over the Yankees. Kind of split it there. The Yankees are starting to cool off a little bit. They're 5-5, only a one-game win streak right now. Currently still in first place though by 5.5 games. Rays in third, 6th back of the Yankees, 5-5 as well in their last 10, but on a 2-game losing streak entering in today's play. And then we had Rockies Nationals. Nationals took that series 3-1. Nationals took the first game 7-3 over the Rockies. Friday's game was postponed. They made that up on Saturday with a doubleheader. National took the first of the doubleheader 13-7, and then the Rockies took 3-2 in the second of that doubleheader. And then on Sunday, Nationals 6-5 over the Rockies to take that series 3-1. Rockies dead last place, 11 games back, 3-7 the last 10 games, and on a current 1-game losing streak entering play today. Nationals also last place though, 4-6, not looking much better than the Rockies. On a 3-game losing streak though now, entering play, and 17 back in the NL East. Then we got the next series was the Guardians at the Tigers. Tigers came away 2-1 out of that 3-game series. Fourth game there that was on Friday, that got rained out. That's postponed until July 4th as the makeup game, but the Tigers took game 1 4-3. Guardians 8-1 in Saturday, and Tigers 2-1 on Sunday. Guardians not looking very good either. They're third, 5-5 in the last 10, but they are on a 3-game winning streak. So maybe some glints of hope there. They're 5.5 currently back in the Central. Tigers are 10 back in 4th place with a 1-game win streak here entering play. Royals, Twins, they split their series 2-2. Royals took the first game, Twins took the second game, and Royals and Twins back and forth there. Rounding out that series, Royals are also last place, 13 back, 2-8 as we went over, 4-game losing streak. Twins are in first place though, 5 games ahead of the second place team in the Central, but they are also 5-5. A lot of teams lately right now are kind of been cooling off. The season started out pretty hot, but what I have been noticing, a lot of teams are going even now out of the last 10 games. A lot of teams are kind of splitting that difference there. Brewers at the Cardinals, they split their series 2-2 as well. Brewers and Cardinals. Brewers took the first game 4-3. Cardinals 4-2 on Friday and 8-3 on Saturday. And then the Brewers shut out the Cardinals for the final game 8-0. Brewers are in first by 2.5 games over the Cardinals, who are in second there. Next up on the series list, we had Toronto, of course, had our beloved Halos. Toronto, of course, broke out the brooms and swept the Angels in a 4-game series at Anaheim. The Angels, as we touched on, I mean, they lost 4 games in a row, but they didn't actually get blown out. It was a close game, pretty much every game that came down to the very last inning for the most part. 6-3 the first game, 4-3, 6-5, and then 11-10 slugfest to close it out on Sunday. Give me your thoughts real quick on that game. That last game there, that 11-10 game run.
Can you say that again? Sorry about that.
Give me your thoughts on that last slugfest for the Angels when they lost that heartbreaker 11-10 against the Jays.
You know what, man? It's like, what's that law where one thing goes wrong and everything starts going wrong?
The law of baseball.
Yeah, right. Sometimes it's like that, man. You know, they're not doing too hot right now, but they have the potential to turn things around. You know, I mean, you can go on a 6-game losing streak and go and win your next 10. So it's yeah. You know what, man? I don't know what's going wrong. Maybe they have some internal problems. Maybe they're all in some kind of fantasy football league, and there's some beef going on with there. We don't know. You know, we don't know.
Very well could be. Who knows? Baseball is definitely a mind sport, and you get in the wrong headspace, and it's a snowball effect. Everything just starts happening, as you said, and just dominoes one after another. All right, next series, Dodgers D-backs. Dodgers swept the D-backs 4-0. Pretty much dominated the D-backs there over the weekend. Dodgers in first by 3.5 games, 6-4 in the last 10, but they are currently on a 2-game losing streak. I'm not sure what they're doing tonight, but I know they're potentially getting swept by the Pirates today. So Dodgers kind of doing a complete 180 there from their success over the weekend. Rangers at the A's. Rangers went 3-1 here over the A's, taking the first 3 games with the A's closing out the win. 6-5 on Sunday. Rangers in 3rd place behind the Angels, 7.5 games back. But the Rangers starting to turn around. They're 6-4 with a 2-game win streak going in today. A's, of course, 3-7 with a 3-game losing streak. They're 14 games back. Then we got Giants and the Reds. Reds took the series 2-1 over the Giants. So the Reds are starting to turn around. Is it maybe a little too late? We don't know. I mean, they're 13.5 back right now in their division, but they are 6-4, currently on a 1-game win streak. But the Reds took the first 3 of the Giants. Giants took the last game of the series to hang on there with not getting swept. Then we got Orioles at Boston. Orioles are starting to play a little bit of good baseball lately too. They took 3 out of 5 from Boston. They took Friday 12-8. Saturday they had a doubleheader. They split. Sox took the first one 5-3. Orioles 4-2 in the second of that doubleheader. The Sox won their second one on Sunday 12-2, and then 10-0 shutout by the Orioles against Boston to wrap that up on Monday. Orioles are 14 back though. They're 5-5 with a 1-game losing streak entering play today. But the Orioles are another team that are trying to turn around. I don't think they will, but the Red Sox were definitely starting to turn around, and now they're starting to go the opposite direction a little bit. Hopefully, Story can still stay hot and keep it going on that end of it. Next, we had, what was that?
Yeah, he will. I think Trevor Story, he'll turn around.
I think the Red Sox are definitely one of the teams that I think are underperforming for the season. I expected them to be better than they are now. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, I did too. I really don't know what's going on. Again, it could be a chemistry thing,
It could be a chemistry thing. Got a bunch of new players. Sometimes you just don't mesh right away. So maybe by the All-Star break they can turn around. I expect them to turn it around a little bit and make it a little more competitive. But between the Yankees and Toronto, I don't see Boston winning the division, but I think they still have a shot at the wild card. Exactly. You got the Rays there too, so I definitely don't see Boston winning the division, but I think they got a wild card shot. Next series we had Phillies at the Mets. Mets, of course, still hot. They swept the Phillies in that 3-game series. 8-6 Friday, 8-2 Saturday, and 5-4 on Sunday. Phillies are 4th, 13 games back. I think that's another team I expected to be doing a little bit better right now, but they've been not good at all. They got a great lineup, but their pitching, I think, is lacking. But they definitely have people that can hit bombs left and right in their lineup between Bryce Harper and Schwarber and Nick Castellanos.
Yeah.
So the Mets covers they've in first 8-2 with a 6-game win streak and a 10.5 game lead in their division.
It might be time to break that down and start being sellers and start selling off any of those big names.
You think the Phillies should instead of holding out for another year? Or?
I think so. I don't think they get to have a chance.
Yeah,
it's over. It's like The Sopranos. It's over.
They could. I mean, they just bought in big though. I think that'd be a hard pill to swallow as a Phillies fan to be able to just sell those players after just getting them and building that excitement for them. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'd be very happy as a Phillies fan, to be honest. But again, you got to do something, I guess.
Yeah.
So a couple more series here. Wrap ups. We got Marlins at the Braves. Braves took that 2-1 over the Marlins. Braves took the first. Marlins took the second game, and Braves took the final game on Sunday 6-3. Marlins are in third, 12.5 back, 7-3 in their last 10 on a 1-game win streak. Braves are in second, behind the Mets, 10.5 games, 5-5 in the last 10. Pirates, Padres. Padres took it 2-1. Pirates won the middle game in that one against the Padres. Padres are another team that are starting to go a little bit the wrong direction. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games with a 3.5 games back of the Dodgers. Hopefully the Padres don't fall off like they did last year. I feel like this might be their year to be a little more competitive. But, I mean, they're kind of starting to go backwards here a little bit. What do you think about the Padres?
I think the Padres are going to be they're going to be in it to the very end, but the Dodgers, dude, the Dodgers are just too good. I mean, and Tatis is coming back. I don't know when he's coming back, actually. They're good. They're really good on paper. The best chance they got is a wild card, but I don't see them making the playoffs this year.
No, yeah, definitely going to be tough with the Giants and the Dodgers in the same division. But they got a shot at the wild card with that new added wild card spot for both leagues, so definitely can't count them out yet. Still early. Astros at the Mariners. Mariners took the series over the Astros 2-1. That was when the Angels should have capitalized on the Astros' misfortunes. But Mariners took the first 2 games of the series. Astros took the Sunday game. Astros, of course, first place, 7-3, 4-game win streak, and 5.5 lead over the Angels. Mariners in fourth, 11 games back of the Astros, 4-6 in the last 10 games as well. And then round out the only interleague matchup of the week. Over the weekend, we had the Cubs-White Sox had a 2-game match, excuse me, Saturday and Sunday. And they split that one, 5-1 Cubs on Saturday, and 5-4 Sox on Sunday. Cubs are 11 games back in their division, though, in fourth place. Sox are second, 5 games back, and 5-5 in the last 10 games. That's going to wrap it up for just the series over the weekend. What series do you think stood out to you most?
Oh, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. I think I'm going to need a little bit of time to think about that.
That is a good question.
The most. You threw me a curveball there. Do you have one on toes? Yeah, right. Do you have one on the top of your head?
I mean, maybe the Orioles taking 3 out of 5 against Boston. That one kind of might stand to me. That was kind of a slugfest there at the end. So that one definitely stands out to me, as well as which one was it here? Yeah, but it was probably that one, and then the Yanks and the Rays splitting at 2-2. The Rays showing that they're still a threat in the division there against the Yankees, helping cool the hottest team in baseball at that point off. I think the Dodgers now have taken the lead, if I'm not mistaken, for most. Or no, Mets still have the most wins now. The Dodgers were at one point, but the Dodgers now have 33 wins. Mets have 35.
Wow.
And Yankees have 34. So Dodgers tied for the third most with the Astros. Yankees behind the Mets there. But pulling the Yankees off a little bit. Like I said, they're 5-5 in the last 10. So those 2 series might be maybe the most that stand out for me for what happened over the weekend. Not counting, of course, our Halos that lost a lot of ground this weekend with their sweep of getting swept by Toronto. So that definitely hurt us. The Angels now are got a steep hill to climb here, 5.5 games back against Astros. So, you guys can tell us what you think in chat there of the series for this week of baseball. What stood out to you guys in
sorry about that
the most, and
let the dog out.
Yep, no worries, man.
All right,
gotta let the dog out.
Yeah, let the dogs out. I did.
So Yankees are cooling off. I think it's going to be interesting to see how things play up into the All-Star break. So we'll see what happens. But speaking of our Halos getting swept by the Toronto, notice something very interesting happened in that series, Rob. They had 4 outfielders against Mike Trout and the Angels. Did you happen to see that?
I did.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Because, I mean, now, for the people listening, this is not just the second baseman playing, deep into the grass, just off the dirt. This was 4 legitimate outfielders, like a softball game, spread out against the wall against the best player in baseball.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, at this point, they're going to try anything to throw Mike off his game. Did it work? No, I don't. I've seen people do it. I've seen teams do this before. I'm not a big fan of it. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of slow pitch softball with the 4 outfielders out there. I don't really like the shift. I mean, I'm one of the guys that a lot. It's a lot harder than just do that, especially with these big league pitchers. But yeah, I mean, you got to try anything to get Mike Trout out.
Yeah, I mean, teams are definitely trying everything can to get Mike Trout out. I don't agree with it. I've never liked the shift in baseball. I think it just diminishes the games. I mean, fans, speaking from a basic fan standpoint, again, the shift is taking away from everything that baseball wants baseball to be, if that makes sense. From the commissioner trying all these things to improve offense. They had that one year where they put those juice balls in there, trying to make more home runs and more offense. But yet they're allowing the shifts like this that completely take away from the offense. I mean, there's so many players that would have so many more hits if they just played their normal positions, which, I mean, I get it to the shift to a point, but you got to stay on your side of the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, not just that, too.
What was that, Rob? Came in a little broken up there. Hold on, Rob. Hold on. A little bit technical difficulty. Rob's a little frozen. Let's get Rob unfrozen here. Hold on. So bear with us as we get our technical difficulty. Rob is coming from home and not in the studio. So we're going to get that fixed here in a second. So we're going to try and get Rob back here. But yeah, speaking of the shift, though, as we get Rob back, there he is. Can you hear me, Rob?
Yep, I'm here, man.
I can hear you. There we are.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
There we are. So, all right. So continue with where you left off about the shift. You're talking about shift, being compared to softball and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know like where I left off. I was just saying, yeah, you got to try anything to get Mike Trout out. I'm not a big fan of it as well. I thought it got banned. I thought they banned the shift. I don't know what happened with that.
They did, but they reversed it. The player union final agreement reversed it.
Wow. Well, I disagree with that. That sucks. I was just saying that not only to like your point of like it's taken away from the offense, it's actually taken away from the defensive part of the game as well. With I mean, some of these guys that have so much range and great gloves. If the shift was as big of a deal back in the day, would the Jeter iconic, in the hole, the throw, the leap and throw, would that have even happened? If the shift was as big of a deal, I mean, would like players like, Omar Vizquel, would he have been known as much as he's known for like with the glove work? I mean, you just take away from the opportunity of making like these web gems, these just sick ass plays. So it is boring when you hit into the shift all the time on both sides. I don't know why they don't try to, really in practice or in BP work on oppo or like work on dragging a bunt. I see some of these guys do it and I love it. That's beating it. That's beating the shift. I don't get it. I don't get why it's still around and why it's still a thing. Maybe because it speeds up the game a little bit, but it's boring, dude. For a casual fan and for a fan of the game. If I was playing in the game, dude, like the only guy that I think that would like a shift is a pitcher, But I mean, if a guy beats the shift, then a pitcher would hate it too. So I'm not for it, man. I'm against it, but that's pretty much my thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like a double-edged sword. I mean, you like it as a pitcher when it works for you. You don't when it doesn't. I think it's just, I mean, like I said, you can shift on your side of the field in your position but not to the complete other side of the field or completely to the outfield. I don't like that. Anywhere in your position is good, but I don't know. But I'm kind of
Yeah.
surprised the players voted for it in that aspect, because especially for some hitters, it definitely takes away from their offensive numbers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Max Scherzer's the head of the players union, who's a pitcher, in which it does work better for pitchers more times than not, because they are playing the numbers.
Yeah.
And numbers don't lie, unfortunately. The numbers are what they are. And that's the whole reason why I think the shift got reversed, because a pitcher is in charge of the players union. And just kind of the only thing that makes sense to me.
I mean,
why
makes
that would
sense,
happen.
dude.
But at the same time, I don't know. It'd be better for baseball without it. Create more offense. The more offense, the more fans you get. That's
More
probably one of
offense,
the
more
biggest complaints
defense.
from common fans is not enough offense.
Yeah.
That definitely speeds up game. Well,
Yeah.
it makes games longer, but if they're more entertaining, the longer aspect wouldn't matter to those fans that are complaining about baseball taking too long.
It'll be a better product out there, and isn't that at the very end of the day? Isn't that what you want?
Exactly. And if you kind of compare baseball to hockey a little bit, where fans kind of complain like, well, there's not enough action and the games are too long, yet kind of makes you wonder why hockey's not more popular, because hockey is the one sport that actually has the most action out of any other sport, because they play for 1 complete hour of complete action. When the play stops, the time stops.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to football, in that 3-hour football game, there's only like 15 minutes of action between the play.
But they're doing something right, because football's huge.
Exactly. But there's only really like 15 minutes of action. People don't realize that. One thing that baseball should take from hockey is they should let these dudes fight. Like, I know, like a lot of people would disagree, but I mean, just let them fight. Don't go, too long, and don't let people just get knocked the fuck out, but let them throw a couple blows, and I don't know about like the bench clearing brawls, because I don't even know if I would call them brawls. They never really get to that point. And by the time like the guys in the bullpen run all the way down, it's just bullshit, and that makes the games a lot longer too. It's not fun. It's a bunch. It almost reminds me of when there's fights in basketball. It's just a bunch of people pushing, barking. But it would be really cool if they just let them duke it out, dude. I think that'd be fun for the game, and that'll create a good product as well. And I think people would tune in for that. I'd tune in to see, a couple of guys, throw some blows. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about actual
the other day,
but
dude. Joey Votto, remember?
Yeah, I do remember Joey Votto. Yep. Mm-hmm. Some old pictures of Nolan Ryan back in the day, getting the guys in headlocks on the mound and stuff. So I don't know how I really feel about the fighting aspect, but I think it should be more physical again, like the play at the plate or breaking up double plays. I think it should be a little more allowed that area of being more physical. I don't like how they took all that away, trying to I get they're trying to protect players, and you can get really hurt, but I think it's just part of the sport. Football, you can die every play if you get hit the wrong way, but they still play, So I don't know. There's definitely lots of ways to combat that stuff in baseball, and that's probably a whole nother episode that we could talk about. The things that should and shouldn't change in baseball. But yeah, so shift, good or bad. I'll let you guys leave in the comments. You let us know. I kind of put that on a poll last Saturday when we were doing our live play-by-play, and surprisingly, most people were saying they were in favor of the shift. I don't get it, and I kind of thought it was the other way around. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're wrong, but it definitely seemed like majority of people were in favor of the shift. So maybe just let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button. Let us know what you guys think about the shift. But moving on to our Halos, Rob. Our Halos, are they in trouble? Do we hit the panic button now?
You know what, man? I do. I'm hitting the panic button. Hit that fucking panic button. Why? Because losing 6 games in a row, that's no bueno. And on top of that, you got the Astros that just keep winning. And you got a lot of other teams out there that are fighting for that wild card spot. And at this point, I don't see the Angels winning the division because they took this. They were on they had what, a 5-game losing streak and won a couple games, and then now a 6-game losing streak. You can't do that with a team like the Astros in your division. I'm hitting that panic button because you just can't. You got to turn things around. You got to do it in a hurry.
Yes, definitely for the Angels. I know they were asking Harry Menagenon the other just earlier today about if he's going to be making any kind of moves. Is he going to hit the panic button? And I know his reply was his move is not to overreact too quickly. I mean, I get it. It is very early in the season. I mean, we're barely hitting the 2-month mark, really. If you look at it, and we're only 5.5 games out. But if you really look at that schedule, the Astros schedule is so much more favorable that really, if the Astros don't win the division this year, it's an absolute failure on their part because their schedule is so much more favorable than the Angels. The Angels have the much tougher schedule. Especially right now, which is the worst time for them to struggle. The Angels are getting hit with that injury bug again. Rendon is down with a wrist injury. Fletch is still maybe a month away.
Do you know?
We don't know yet. I know he's placed on a 10-day IL, so at least 10 days. Hopefully that's all it takes. We really need Rendon back in the lineup, but people like Matt Duffy have been stepping up. I mean, even though the Angels losing those, like I said, those 4 to Toronto, they hit really well. I mean, they were close games. There was 2 games where it came down to the final out of the game. They had bases loaded in one game, 2 outs, the tying run and the winning run on base. And Squid unfortunately struck out. That's kind of our weakest hitter when it comes to hitting, but his defense is phenomenal. So I think I still would rather have him in the lineup over someone else that can't field as well. We got to leave it up to the other 8 players to really carry the offense. Squid will get his hits there and there. He had that key home run the other night as well when we were live as well for that win.
Oppo, too.
And Oppo, yes. So, I mean, I think Squid's bat will start to come around a little bit. I mean, it's not going to be like no Mike Trout or Taylor Ward or anything like that. But those guys definitely got to step up.
You can't rely on.
No, I mean, right now the Angels' struggle is the bullpen, which is supposed to be our strongest point. And it has been until recently. I mean, you look at a guy like Aaron Loop, one of the top relievers last year. His first 17 games, he had a 1.62 ERA, but he's had a 31.50 ERA in his last 4 appearances, giving up 7 earned runs and 9 hits, including a homer, 4 doubles.
It's all that wear and tear, man. Joe Madden, dude. Yep. Joe Madden's just using and abusing the bullpen. I mean, they get used so fucking much. And Joe has such a quick trigger to pull out the starters, dude. So I mean, it's understandable on why they're fucking tired. The bullpen's tired. Let these guys shove. Let these guys go. I mean, going 7 innings is almost unheard of now. And back in the day, dude, I mean, you try to baby these guys, and there's still going to be injuries. And right now too, with all these pitchers that they drafted. Dude, let these guys shove because there's another guy hungry, ready to come up. So that's what I would think, dude. You
exactly
give the bullpen a rest,
Exactly. They have been used a lot, and that's because, like I said, our starters, as good as they have been, which is the best we've had in years out of our starting pitching until just the last few games where Thor got rocked a couple of times down the last 3 starts. But other than that, it's been the best since like 1989. Better than the World Series Angels starting pitching, which if you look at that team, that starting pitching really wasn't that good when we won the World Series. I mean, we had Washburn, we had pitchers like Kevin Apier, So
remember him?
The Angels can definitely
the whole roster, dude. The whole roster.
The whole roster was definitely a team that was not expected to win the World Series at all in 2002. But like I said, our top bullpen guys right now are faltering. I mean, maybe it's best they get it out of the way now. And hopefully the rest of the stretch they can lock it in. I mean, Iglesias has been struggling. Tepera had 2.08 ERA in his first 16 games as well, and now he's at 16.20 in the last 5, giving up 6 runs, 5 hits in just 3 1/3 innings. I mean, our bullpen is just what's really faltering. So, you got Adele still waiting in AAA, which I'm not a fan of. Imanashian said, he just recently still needs to improve his overall defense play before he can be brought back up, which is good because his defense is horrendous. Let alone his strikeout rate, that the Angels don't need more strikeouts. They're already top in the league in strikeouts. which is another thing. But I mean, which is pretty wild stat when you think about it, because the Angels' offense is in like the top 5 in almost every category, and yet they still have the most strikeouts in the league. Could you imagine if they didn't strike out that much?
It's the day and age of baseball where you hit the ball hard or you strike out. It's just how hitters are nowadays. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of bombs. It's just that's just the way. That's just what they're teaching these kids nowadays on how to hit, the whole launch angle and this and that. It's just that's what it is. Go big or go home.
Yeah, I mean the Angels are definitely being more productive on those pitches that they do swing at, because they're being so selective at the plate, which is causing those higher strikeout numbers, because they're taking those borderline pitches and either they're getting the call or they're not. And I think most of the time this season they have not been getting the call, which has led to those higher numbers. Not necessarily because it's a bunch of swing and misses. There's been a lot of looking strikeouts for the Angels, and they definitely got to minimize that, though, especially with the pitching if it's not on par, because we can't give up run or not afford to leave runners on base at this point. But I would definitely hit the panic button. I agree. It's panic mode right now because they're playing the Yankees. The game got rained out today, so they're going to have a doubleheader tomorrow. That's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow in that doubleheader. Have you heard who's starting tomorrow yet or anything, Rob?
I have not. I could check into that.
So let's see here.
Excuse me.
Let's see who's starting tomorrow real quick. See if they posted it.
Ohtani, no?
So Ohtani is playing one of the games tomorrow. Ohtani's starting the first game at 10 in the morning. And then Detmers is pitching his regular scheduled start tomorrow. But yeah, Ohtani was supposed to start today, so he's been pushed back to tomorrow. Hopefully Ohtani can get us back on track. Maybe throw another 10 strikeouts and hit another bomb.
Yeah, it looks like he's throwing against Nestor the Molester with the stash, dude. But he's been solid, dude. He's got a 1.7 ERA, one of the best in the league. So hopefully Ohtani brings his A game, because they need it.
I think the Angels should think about making a move as well, maybe trading for a starter or another bullpen piece, some kind of pitching. I think we definitely need to trade for by the All-Star break, whether that's from the Reds, from Luis Castillo, or what's his name from the A's, Frankie Montas, maybe from the A's.
Is he still there?
Isn't it Montas? Who's the one that's still there that we just played against? He just pitched against us.
I thought Montas went to the Padres, but I could be wrong.
Well, there's maybe it was Montas that went to the Padres, but I know it's the guy that just pitched against us in Oakland. Let me see if I can find his name here. Not Jeffries. It's Jeffries, doubleheader. Trevino. No, yeah, it was Montas. Montas is still with the A's. So that's the last starter they haven't traded yet. They traded everyone else, but so maybe the Angels can go out and get him. But they definitely, I think they need to make some kind of move this season to stay competitive with the Astros, and hopefully the Angels can at least grab a wild card spot. They're still in good position for that, and even with being 5 games out of first place against the Astros. So
yeah,
let's just keep track, and we'll definitely be live again next week. Live again this Saturday with another game, and hopefully we'll check in and see how the Angels are doing this week. And do
you want to go over some awards?
Oh yes, yes. Also, our next regular midweek wrap up, we're going to be doing our award predictions for who we think is the front runners for the MVP, the Cy Young Award, the batting title, the Rookie of the Year, as well as who we think is going to be winning the divisions and making the wild card spots. We'll be doing all of our predictions here next week in our next episode. We still have our live play-by-play coming up. But yes, the next regular episode, we'll definitely be doing all of our predictions, me and Rob. And we'll see who tallies and comes in closer at the end of the year. Who's closer on the predictions, me or Rob. And we'll see how that goes. Anything else you want to wrap it up with, Rob?
No, that's going to be it, man.
That's going to be it. So, yeah, we're going to be, like I said, live again, play-by-play coming up. this weekend with the Angels. The Angels are playing the Phillies this weekend. So that's going to be an interesting one to see if the Angels can capitalize on the Phillies. Not doing so hot right now. And we'll definitely tell. So comment anything you guys want to ask us in the comments. We'll answer them. And see you on the next one.
And you're listening to The Sportsmen, Mike and Rob.